In the heart of the cosmic clockwork, where time itself is woven, Father Time reigns supreme as the embodiment of the current year. He's a stoic and wizened figure, whose beard of ages flows like an ethereal river. As the year draws to a close, a new and youthful figure emerges from the shadows. This newcomer, the embodiment of the new year, radiates with vigor and potential, his eyes ablaze with promise. They lock eyes, neither being willing to be the first to look down, but Father Time knows what this means. Aware that his reign may be coming to an end, a surge of fear and resistance swells within him. He is Time's sole sovereign, and the thought of relinquishing his grasp on the turning of the clock is inconceivable. So, as the final moments of the old year wane, he confronts his successor, determined to prevent the transition. He draws his sword and hoists it high above his head, summoning the full force of his temporal powers. The very fabric of time twists and dances, creating a temporal storm ready to strike. But the new year, not to be underestimated, responds with bursts of fresh energy, countering the temporal chaos with waves of rejuvenation. Their grand struggle spread across the universe, giving birth to new planets and collapsing old stars. They clash, and the intricate weaves of time itself ripple across the cosmos. Father Time proves a clever tactician, but he is no match to the New Year's unbridled strength and power. Before long, Father Time falls to one knee. His body sags under the weight of the time he carries. Yet the new year, despite the struggle, stands tall, vibrant and resolute. With a sweat-drenched brow, Father Time realizes the futility of his efforts. It's clear, but the old must give way to the new.
Please, wait. I was only testing you.
Father Time says, his voice carrying the wisdom of countless epochs.
Just as I was tested by my predecessor.
The new year, gaining full control of time's flow, looked at Father Time in astonishment.
Testing me?
Father Time nodded.
The cycle continues. I had to ensure that you were truly ready to take my place.
With trembling hands, he takes off the crown atop his head and places it upon the new year.
Time is an unending journey, and we are but stewards for a while. Now it is your turn to watch over the ever-turning wheel of time.
He watched as the new year assumed its rightful place on the eternal throne. Understanding filled the new year's eyes.
Must you leave me?
He asked. An affectionate smile played upon Father Time's lips.
Yes and no. We're all with you, those who've passed and those yet to come, for time is never-ending.
With the transfer of power complete, the new year motioned at the vast expanse of life forms spread out before him.
And what of these little ones? What shall I do with them?
Father Time in the new year watched life in all its various forms labor and dance before them. Some rose and fell, some flirted, some cried, some laughed, and some suffered. Some lived, some died, and some loved like there was no tomorrow.
It's easy, isn't it?
What is?
To grow fond of them.
Yes, and I also ache for them. They hurt each other. If only we could show them, if only they could see themselves as we see them from up here, even for a little while.
Father Time clasped New Year on the shoulder.
You say much of what I told my predecessor. But as vast as our power is, you'll quickly find that it's limited to time and time alone. With my passing, they'll look to you now. They'll look to you with hope and faith and the resolutions of a new year. Though some retain that faith, far too many lose it. But to those who wander in their hardships, I've often found that in the quiet of the night, When they're willing to listen, it helps to remind them of their potential.
With that, Father Time's form slowly faded, becoming one with the essence of time itself. The new year felt a profound sense of responsibility and readiness, realizing that he had inherited a sacred duty to guide the universe in the coming year. And so, the new year dawned, marking a fresh beginning. Father Time's wisdom lived on in his successor, and the eternal cycle of time continued its relentless march forward, just as it always had.